You got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
And Katie's here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nick and Gal are doing some other stuff.
Off gallivanting somewhere.
Yeah,
They're
but it's
MIA.
okay. It's all right. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by Winix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So, how was your week? Anything?
Excellente. Actually, remember we were talking, I don't think we talked about it on the show, or maybe we did, I don't know. But I was looking for an air purifier, and Costco had some, and the box is right behind me.
Oh, so that's what that is.
Winix?
Winix, yeah. That's what we have, yeah.
So this is
Which
like
one?
Wait, hold on.
This is 5.4.
It is. Why doesn't that tell me?
5.45. It's a 3.
Oh, C545.
5.45.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's like
I
$100 and some dollar whatever one, and they had it on sale for, I think it was like $90 or something.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. For anybody that is looking for Winix, you can always go to winix.com, and they have refurbished one that they do, and they are $89.
Is it a ionizing one or
It's
just a
everything.
filter?
It's
Everything?
unbelievable. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
we,
it's.
Yep.
Yeah, it does everything. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And yeah, I saw it. I saw it at Costco, and I just pulled the trigger. And now I have it in my 3D printing room. So if anybody that's concerned about my lungs with my 3D printing, don't worry anymore. I got it covered.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I put it in there, and it was like red.
yeah, it will straighten out. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it just sits there, and I like it because it has that app. Not that I really use the app, but it automates its cycles, which I love technology that does that. I like to plug something in and just let it do its thing. I don't want to monitor it and or micromanage it, and it kicks on when it needs to kick on, and it just goes through its own little cycles. So I'm excited. I got that
and
out
when
of the
the
way.
time comes for you to get filters, you get on Amazon and you search for it, and they have all kind of combinations. You get the ones with the carbon that are cheaper, but they come only with 2 HEPA. And after a while, you have so many carbon filters, you know. So Kathy last week, she told me, she said, I need HEPA. So I went and looked. And sure enough, somewhere down the line on Amazon, they had a pack of 5 just HEPA. And they were a great price. So when the time comes, that's you don't go to Costco to buy these.
No. And it came with 2 of the black filters. I don't know what they were. I just put them to the side. I'm assuming they're refills.
Yeah, I have a HEPA filter. That's just a fan-based one, charcoal filter. And the nice part about it is that you can clean it. And it has a outer filter that's like a wrap that you put around the big filter in the middle. And I run it on a timer every day in our bedroom. But it's really just particulates. But
Nice.
I would like to get something. I used to have those Sonic. What was the ones that was that retail store?
Circuit City.
Sharper Image used to sell these. Ionic Breeze, it was called.
Oh yeah, I remember. Well, I never had one or anything like that, but I remember the marketing term ionic breeze because everything had it.
Yeah,
That
everywhere.
was the buzzword.
And I had two of them. I bought a two pack, and they work great. I mean, if you forgot to clean it, it would just build. It would look like like an out of control science experiment because it would just attract so much fine particles out of the air.
Nice.
And it's just the last one I had. It finally died, and it had some type of intern. You turn it on, and you would see a short line go across the side of the thing because it just something happened to it. I never replaced it.
Well,
I
go to
should though.
Costco and get a
Yeah.
Winix.
We
You have a
have,
good deal.
I think we have 3 of them running in the house.
Do you
Nice.
feel your overall happiness is better?
Yeah, it's as long as Kathy's happy, that's fine with me.
There you go, and then you're happy.
Yeah.
And,
It doesn't have subliminal, messages like low volume subliminal messages telling you to feel better.
it
You are
sends out
much
ionic
better.
waves.
Yeah,
And then
it's nice.
I got the air purifier, but I'm also not related to the air purifier. But when I was I was at a convention, I don't know, 3 weekends ago now, I think. And there was a booth of people that were selling keyboard fidget toys, and it was keys that were on the switches, and I printed my own, and so it's just a keycap on the switches, and you just press it. It doesn't do anything, obviously, but it's just a fidget toy, and it was so addicting that I almost bought one. But when I looked at it, I was like, I could probably make it because I went on AliExpress or Baba, whichever one it is, and I bought the switches, and then I got keycaps, a bag of keycaps, and then I went online and I found the casing for the switches, and so now I can just sit here and I do this, and people are like, "Oh, well that's dumb. Why would you want to do it?"
I-
You say that, but then once you get your hands on one, and then you just sit there and you're just like clicking the keys.
Now wait.
And
Okay, now
what?
wait a second. I don't understand. You're supposed to build a keyboard?
No, no, no.
Why do you need switches?
So mechanical switches
Yeah,
make a clicking noise, and then they also are just satisfying to push a button. So
right.
this counts as a fidget toy, something that you fidget with. You just sit there and you just do it.
Oh, so it doesn't go on top of actual keyboard keys. You don't
No, this is
replace.
a keychain.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
you just carry it around with you. And there was a store, and they were selling a bunch of them where they made uh keycap keychains, and they usually it was a line of 4, and that's the next thing I'm gonna work on. And so you just sit there and you just mess with it, and because it's a mechanical keyboard or mechanical switches, they do the click clack click clack click clack, and it was so you don't knock it till you try it. It sounds crazy, like, but if you had one in your hand and you just sit there and you like, it's people that like mess with pins, that click pins.
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing except with the keyboard or keycaps. And so I saw theirs, and you can I guess buy kits online, but I was like, I'm gonna 3D print it. So I bought the individual pieces and then 3D printed
The
this
base.
the base, yeah, and then I'm gonna make a four length one. So you can just sit there and be like, "Da, da, 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 da." You can hear them too throughout the convention. Like, because mechanical keyboards can be like really loud depending on the switches. This one's really quiet. It's not one that clicks really loud. I just bought the first one I saw on AliExpress, and I think it was like, I don't know, 10 cents a piece or something ridiculously cheap.
Gal in the chat is saying, so is this a new product Katie sells now?
I should honestly, because a lot of people sell them, like they were selling the 4 ones for $15, and
Wow.
there's a lot of people, especially on like TikTok, that sell fidget toys, and I might have to sell this. But my first response is when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I could buy this, or I can make my own." And so I did it the hard way and made my own.
Talk about making your own. Did you end up printing that gear?
I did, yeah, I got it. Oh, I'm glad you reminded
Did
me
you get
because
it right? The way, I mean, are you happy with it?
yeah, I printed out different sizes for you. So well, I should say the diameters are all the same,
Okay.
but the interior, I don't know what you want to call it, for the bar are different
For the
sizes because
axle, yeah.
for the axle, because I can't get it exact because I don't have any exacting tools. So I just
Yeah.
like eyeballed it. So what happened was is Umnan has those stomper cars, which I've never even heard of, but they're like before Hot Wheels kind of things. And one of the gears on the stomper broke, and so he handed me the gear, and it's in the little bag because of it's broken, and I don't want to lose the pieces. But he handed me the gear, and then I went on and printed out a 3D printed out a replacement, and the 3D printed. So I found a model online that I downloaded, and the model wasn't the right size. So I was finagling the size, and so I'm gonna hand these over to you
Yeah.
today when I see you, and you're gonna have to test them for me.
Yeah. Sure.
So I have a really big hole, medium hole, and a small hole. And I know you said at one point that you could drill out a bigger hole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You can make
it's
it,
like,
if it's too small, you just can kind of mill it out a little bit so the axle goes through.
yeah. So I'm gonna give you Goldilocks of
Sure.
axles or whatever
Yeah.
the gears.
We'll check it when you get here. Yep. That's nice. Nice.
Yeah, and it only took a couple minutes to print each
Hmm.
one. It's funny, like when I set up the printer, it's like, oh, it's gonna take 11 minutes to print, but then it's like 9 minutes for the printer to heat up. So
Yeah, it only takes 5 minutes to get from here to Garner in a car, but it takes half an hour to let the car warm up.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So just keep it on all the time.
Yeah,
Warmed
you
up.
could. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Well,
Anyway,
not cost effective.
um, there were two stores in two different places here where Vladimir Putin has ordered Russia's government to explore the development of a series of homegrown consoles to compete with PlayStation and Xbox.
Good luck with that.
Putin is giving an order to do that.
Hmm.
They probably saw what China's done, and they want to copy China. So China
I guess.
has
Yeah, they're using it
integrated.
as a communications platform, right?
Well, in the game sphere, China has a lot of game companies, and I think there's. I'm not. See, this is why we need Nick, because I'm doing general things that I know, and I'm
That's
probably not
fine.
accurate
That's all
in
right.
my information. But Tencent is the huge Chinese gaming company, and they own a lot of shares in North American gaming companies. And like the biggest one I could think of is World of Warcraft and Blizzard. So they what they do is they monitor and facilitate game releases in China through the company. So basically, no game can be released in China unless it goes through Tencent or whatever company, Chinese company. And so it kind of is frustrating in North America because a lot of our games, because the Chinese market is so huge, they there's a lot of laws and regulations about what you can and can't show in a video game. For example, in China, you're not allowed to show skeletons or bones. And so a lot of the video games over here, which will be like a zombie one or whatever, they'll have to change their models in order for it to be released in China. So they want to access that market.
Mm-hmm.
Now what this has to do with Russia is that control that China has of games. I mean, games is like a multi-billion-dollar industry. Uh and they control the flow of content that gets into the country. And so I could see Russia wanting to have that same buildup and then build up a company that also has a majority share in North American gaming companies. But it's at the end of the day, it's not just a gaming company, it's like a technology company, because everybody has to download these video game apps onto their computers in order to play the games. Like, you're talking about access of technical information and all that other stuff. So it's not just about video games. Now, if they're talking about a console, I mean, I don't know. It's just not surprising, but I'm looking at it from that angle, the way that China has done it, and they've done it in a very systematic way. And I'm just curious if that's what Russia is thinking of doing.
Could be they're just so concerned about allowing people to have free access to everything.
Yeah, it's probably all about control.
No.
Yeah, pretty sure it's gonna be where you're only allowed to play Russia PlayStation and not play Sony PlayStation or something.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
I just saw a story this week where somebody raised yet again it's just because a product doesn't come directly from China doesn't mean it doesn't have Chinese produced chips in it. And they don't know what the back doors built into the chipset is, what kind of access it creates, whether it's a back door or some socket that's left open for interrogating your machine. And the point of the article was also to always read the EULA all the way through. I mean, it's hard to do that, but put certain search words in there and find out what exactly are you allowing by loading the software using the hardware of access to your machine. They're collecting information. If it's purely for marketing purposes, it's still nefarious. But what else are they collecting? You never know. And are they being honest? It could be a keystroke monitor built in.
sure.
And you don't know. I mean, I go to great lengths to protect my machines, but I could have stuff on here I have no idea that doesn't get detected. So,
Yep.
I'm gonna disconnect from the power grid and just live on with candles and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can do that.
I've
Right.
accepted my fate. There's too many cool things that I like to use and play with that I know that, like, I use TikTok, and so I always joke that the Chinese government has my information, and I don't care. Like, I want to use these products and services, and I know I'm giving up my information, but
Think about how softened we've become to the whole idea.
yeah.
It's normal. I mean, there's one other thing I mention this every so often when we're watching television, how there's so many shows that show people, especially even in law enforcement positions, of breaking the law for the common good. Right? You'll see, the policeman takes out his little key thing and he breaks into the house, even though he doesn't have a warrant. Well, I had to because it had to get the guy. So we've been kind of softened to the idea of, where does where the limitations that are placed on government have been just blown out. So, oh well.
Oh, well. Um, Spence, you're a new AT&T user. Internet.
Going on a year.
Katie, how long you have AT&T, right?
Yeah.
How long?
Just over 2 years.
Okay. Well, Friday I got an email from AT&T. I've been an AT&T. I had an account for internet since the DSL days. We have discovered that your AT&T account passcode has been compromised. Therefore, we have proactively reset your passcode. Now they have a passcode, like it's not the password to log in. It's when you talk to them, they say, "What's your passcode?" And it's a 4-digit that you have to
Yeah,
give
like
them,
your
and then
PIN
they know
number.
you. But so, I mean, first of all, you jump and you say, "Oh." Our internal teams are working with external cybersecurity experts to analyze the situation. Now, here's the interesting part that I missed first time when I read it. It appears the data is from more than 4 years ago
Oh my
and
goodness.
does not contain personal financial information or call history. And it says the information varied by customer and account, but may have included full name, email address, mailing address, phone number, social security number, date of birth, AT&T account number, and passcode. And they said that if you were compromised, then they will offer a free identity theft service. So first, I mean, I said, okay, that's 4 years old, you know,
Yeah,
and
there could
nothing,
be two Nissans running around and we
nothing.
wouldn't have
Well,
any
yeah,
idea.
but nothing happens so far. So first of all, I'm looking at that and saying, okay, so you changed my passcode. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
like
think
yeah,
that
did
was
they
So
my
I
first
tried
thought.
to log in, and of course, I could log in. And after going round and round and round, I found a place where you can change your passcode. So I went there. Now, to change your passcode, you have to have a verified email address. Now, the email address that was in that on that page was Amnon 3 something at att.net. I was saying, well, damn, I don't have an account. I mean, I don't choose email from AT&T. How am I going to do this?
Is that the one they created for you? Like if you join Spectrum, you get a Spectrum email
I
address?
guess I don't know, but I've never used it, never needed it, never did
Yeah.
anything with it. So I'm saying, well, maybe it's mapped to my email address. So I click on it and say, okay, we sent an email. I go and check my email. Nothing. I check on the server to see if there is anything that was rejected or whatever. Nothing. So I go and I monitor in real time the mail log on my mail server. And I click again, send again, and I'm looking and nothing is coming from AT&T. So I figured, it's still possible that it may be coming from another place because a lot of companies use other companies to do this type of thing. But anyway, I said, well, leave it alone at this point. This morning, I find two emails in my inbox that said that, here's your verification.
It took that long?
And I'm saying, it took that long? What is going on here? So I went in again and real quick and changed it, and it's fine. But it's weird. I mean, they don't tell you really what to do. And I mean, of course, first I thought it was just a scam, so I went and checked. No, it was actually from AT&T.
There's two explanations for that. One is that they're incredibly incompetent.
That's I
And the
think
second
that
one is that they're doing it intentionally. And I know for a fact that there are places you can go, like if you find out something that you want to fix, like a subscription to something, and you go out to try to do it, it's like the steps you have to take to try to do it.
yep.
It's so muddled. And or to I wanted to get a replacement window. I have lifetime warranty replacement windows, and I needed it. One of the glass panes went bad, and it turns out that since I bought them, the company that owns it's Home Depot brand or
Mhm.
his internal brand, but it's made by somebody else, and it's changed parent companies 3 times since I got these windows. So for me to try to find the place to actually submit a warranty, it was unbelievable. It just was so many steps. And another thing I did was had some luggage that I used this last time on the trip. I came back. there's a big hole in the side of my bag, and one of the casters is broken. So I applied for, and I still am getting these weird emails back and forth. Oh, we need more information. Could you send us this? Things I already sent. So I think it's intentionally, in some cases, intentionally done to just discourage you from bothering to make a claim.
I believe it. I
Just
absolutely believe
make it
that.
so difficult.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there are agencies where they, like North Carolina government, things that I've dealt with having a business, that are just, you want to stick needles in your eyes, because you realize, you try to just stay on the line and we'll help you. And it's literally 3 or 4 hours. I finally got through. I had a question, and somebody did answer me, and they gave me the answer I needed to know. But just trying to get there was so frustrating. Most people, would you really stay on the phone for 3.5 hours?
Jeez.
I did,
that's
because
ridiculous.
I 2 or 3 times before that, I just couldn't wait. So I said, I'm going to do this in the morning when I know I'm going to be in the house, and I'll just wait.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I a couple weeks ago, I was gathering up my tax forms to send to my tax person, and they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, you're missing this form or this information from this account." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me go see." And I couldn't find the paperwork, and I went on the website because nowadays you could just download. Generally, you could just download your tax forms for whatever account and
Mhm.
stuff. And so I went on the company website, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have an account." I was like, "What do you mean you don't have an account?" I I I have to have an account because I'm getting I'm getting my statement in the mail for like the past 2 years. So I couldn't figure out how to log in, and so I called the help number, and they said, "Oh, you don't have an account." Uh, and So I was like, "Well, what do you mean I don't have an account? Because I obviously have an account, but like I'm getting this tax information." And they're like, "Oh, well, you have to make a login." And I was like, "Well, I did make a login." They're like, "No, that was an employee login through the employee portal, but not through the actual website portal." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I was like, "Okay, well then, can I make an account? I have my old employee information. I have all this stuff." And they're like, "Well, what's your PIN number?" And I was like, "Well, I don't. If I don't have an account, I don't have a PIN number." And they're like, "Oh, well, you were given a PIN number when you first made an account, which I don't have an account." So I was like, Well, okay. Well, it's like I don't have this information. How can we proceed from here?" And they go, "Oh, we have to mail it to you. Oh, they have to mail the PIN number to me
Yeah.
before I can make an account." And I said, "Can I just like give you my social security number to so that you know it's me and not as like a I on one hand I get it. It's so that nobody can just like call and like get in like to prove who you are kind of thing. But
Yeah,
I'm
but there are
still
ways there are ways to check your identity.
I,
There are multi-factor authentications that they could use. They just don't want to use
exactly.
it.
And
Yeah.
she said, "No, you have to wait for this piece of mail." I've been waiting for this piece of mail for 2 weeks, and to log in to my money account to get access to this my tax forms. But eventually, I found the tax forms. My cat ended up knocking over my envelopes on the floor, and I found it underneath some furniture. I was cleaning, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Jeez.
look, it's my tax forms." So it worked out. I mean, I have them because they mail them to you in January or whatever. And that's why in the past, I guess I never ran into this issue because I had the paperwork.
My
Uh
my
but
credit union, for I've been a member of this credit union since I moved here, so 32 years. And they've always been pretty good, but they've never been leading edge, right? They've done things, but lately I've been impressed by the fact that they've actually. I had a compromised debit card, and I said I need a new card. They said, "Oh, well, you can go to these locations and have one made for you right there."
wow,
Really?
I
So
don't
I
have to
went
wait.
and I said, can I create a new PIN? Yes, yes, sure. All right. And they gave me a keypad that has a little cover over it. All right, tell us what you want your PIN to be. And before that, you couldn't pick your PIN.
Hmm.
They gave you a PIN, and that
Mhm.
was it. You had to wait for the thing in the mail, and it was like a those envelopes that an impact printer
Mhm.
punches through to put a carbon on the inside. That's how they delivered it. So now they're on board multi-factor authentication, all these different things that are great, but until it doesn't work, and then it's a problem. They have
Yeah,
an app called Card Nav, which is a way. It's a separate app from their app to access your account, but it manages your cards. I have yet to be able to get it to recognize anything. Uninstall it, reinstall it. And I realize I'm going to have to call their tech support, and it's going to be another one of those things. I'm going to need time to sit there and wait. But I want it to work. It would be great.
it's just
Uh,
stuff like this just drives me crazy because
Yeah.
I I have an account not with the actual financial company, but with the employee portal because my old employer used this financial institution or whatever. And so I could log into my employee portal and see all the information. I could do all of the things that having an account you're supposed to do, except download the tax forms. So like I could move money around, I could add money, I could do this, that, and other thing, except that stuff. And and so me, I just assumed that because I could do all the stuff that having an account lets you do, that was the account. Like I didn't realize that I had to go to the actual financial institution website apparently to make a separate account to get the tax information.
Are
It's
you
Maybe
just
talk?
what
Are
you
you
might
talk?
have lost some privileges when you left. That a flag went up and it changed just that little bit.
well, no, because I could still go in there and still move the money around and
Yeah.
still do the stuff.
But
And
the hook into the actual financial institution that pulls the document broke when you left. That could be it.
I
They might,
guess, but
yeah,
to me it doesn't make any sense because how can I do like how can I pull money out of my account if I
that's
wasn't
exactly
me,
right.
but not access the actual financial website. Like I said, I could do everything as if it's their website. The only thing I can't do is download my tax forms.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in
Interesting.
the butt.
And you're talking about the filled tax form, not blank.
Yeah, filled like
Yeah,
1099 or
yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Oh well, takes all kinds.
Yeah, and the lady was not
Yep.
helpful.
All right, let's switch here. If you've ever jokingly wondered if your search or viewing history is going to put you on some kind of list, your concern may be more than warranted.
Well, everybody knows that's true.
Right, Mashable. In now unsealed court documents reviewed by Forbes, Google was ordered to hand over the names, addresses, telephone numbers, and user activity of YouTube accounts and IP addresses that watched select YouTube videos. Part of a larger criminal investigation by federal investigators. The videos were sent by uncovered police to a suspected cryptocurrency launderer. In conversation with the Bitcoin trader, investigators sent links to public YouTube tutorials on mapping via drones and augmented reality software. The videos were watched more than 30,000 times, presumably by thousands of users unrelated to the case. YouTube parent company Google was ordered by federal investigators to quietly hand over all such viewer data for the period of January 1st to January 8th, 2023.
I I heard about this about a week
Amazing.
ago, and I wasn't shocked by it, but it's the fact that they're busy out there looking for a crime
Yeah.
where you just might be an interested party. What if one of those persons watching was a journalist who was trying to get the story,
Yep.
or just somebody who was in the industry to say, "Hey, I want to know about this," And yet now you're on somebody's list to be investigated.
Yeah. And that
This
doesn't
is
go away.
this
Nope.
isn't anything new though. Like I remember hearing years ago, where this first popped up, where somebody built a bomb in their garage, and uh, what led investigators to the person was their Google search. Like they Googled, I don't know, how to build a bomb, and then they kept going back and like googling specific things on how to build a bomb, and then their accounts got flagged, and they showed up in his garage, and sure enough he had a bomb in his backyard. Like that's not, it's not anything new. And
Mm.
it's funny because I'm in a lot of book and author communities because I like to read, and authors joke all the time that, I'm writing a murder mystery and I had to Google, how to kill somebody and get away with murder essentially. And they're like, I know I'm on a list, but then I go and I search writing tools and tips so that my FBI agent that's following my computer knows that I'm a writer, not a murderer.
No?
So, and
Uh,
two, I remember a while ago I was reading an article about, or not article, but it was like a thread of how people get away with posting like secrets, like how to build a bomb and how to do all this and other thing. And obviously they don't call it how to build a bomb, but they say that it's for educational purposes,
yeah.
that they if they declare it on their YouTube videos as educational purposes, then uh the video can be posted. Now, I don't know how true that is now, but it was 10 years ago. It was some crazy thing like how to hack into the mainframe, or some scary thing that they write movies about.
Yeah.
And then there's a
So,
disclaimer for educational purposes only.
so how long before this becomes another swatting opportunity to say anonymously, you'll have a help, you'll go to a place where you can put in um, an alert to say, I know this person is watching, watch this person has watched this video.
You could do that now. Like swatting is such a
It's
it's
not
such
just
a
pizza being delivered anymore.
well, it's such a problem. I don't know if you guys have kept up with specifically streamers getting swatted.
Yes.
It's a huge problem
Tim
where,
Tim Pool has been swatted like 5 times at his studio,
yep, it's a big
and
problem where people,
different kinds of day. They reported gunfights, they reported kidnappings, they
yep,
reported illegal activity on site, and they keep coming.
Yeah,
yeah, and
but
they
that
respond
also
within.
may be all orchestrated just to get ratings.
No, because the
I don't know.
person that gets swatted, they don't want that to happen. Are you kidding me? Like it's legit. Like the police and whoever that show up. Uh, I know.
Especially when they break your door down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
there's always a chance that somebody could be trigger happy,
Yeah, well,
and
there was a
so
family recently that there were two incidents. I might have mentioned the one about the AirTags. Did I talk about that last week
no,
about the
I have
family?
that story here. Yeah.
Yeah, where the thieves threw the AirTag out of the stolen truck, and it landed on the property of these people, and they came in and they broke the doors down looking for information about the stolen truck.
Yep.
And there was another one that was similar to this, where I'm trying to remember what the association was, and they came and raided the house. Oh, it was the GPS coordinates were off. Like they went to the location, and the records for that GPS location were not right. So they went to the wrong house.
Yeah, this is what I think. This one, it says that there's a SWAT team in St. Louis County mistakenly raided the home of Brittany Shamley and her family based on the inaccurate tracking of
That's
stolen
it.
AirPods by the Find My app. The family is
That's what it was.
suing
Yeah.
for damages stemming from embarrassment, unreasonable use of force, loss of liberty, and other factors. So, I mean, just wrong information. Come on. I mean, even if it is a stolen uh, AirTag.
Whatever happened to going to the door and knocking on the door?
Yeah.
Hey, we got this information.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
Well,
It's
Well, she shouldn't have been looking up how to steal a truck on YouTube. Get you
and
every time.
all those late night shop sounds coming from the garage where
Yeah.
they cut the car into pieces. Oh, I mean,
now,
there's a lot of illegal stuff going on. I understand that, but
yeah, but I mean, it I guess law enforcement also gets kind of jumpy.
oh,
You have to be
it's
there to know. I mean, I don't know.
there was a woman who I'm not sure if she was arrested. I think she was because someone in her family was attacked. I don't know. I don't know if they were killed or not, but they were attacked, brutally attacked. And the person who was accused of it was released on bail. I mean, this is something, a violent attack against someone. A suspect was
Mhm.
released, and she reported it on her social media. They arrested
Mm,
her. And this is in the United States. This is not over in
yeah.
UK. I mean, England has their own problems with this stuff. But
So
you can have a bad opinion. You could write a review of something, and they arrest you for it.
we talked in the past about VPNs. Are you using a VPN, Spence?
I am when I travel.
How about you, Katie?
No, I haven't gotten into it yet.
Yeah,
I probably should.
I only use it when I go to to my servers. But anyway, Atlas VPN informed customers on last Monday that it will discontinue its services on April 24, citing technological demands, market competition, and escalating cost as key factor in the decision. The company said it will transfer its paid subscribers to its sister company, NordVPN, for the remainder of the subscription period to ensure uninterrupted VPN services.
That's what I use,
It's
Nord.
I mean, there were articles that were saying that really in with today's uh browsers, you don't need VPN.
Oh, it doesn't mask your IP address.
Yeah, I know.
It's like one of the popular things that people use IP address VPNs for is to watch content from other regions,
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I would use it for.
and like you can't watch or you can't get a subscription to British TV. Even if you're watching over the air TV in Britain, you have to pay a subscription fee to
Hmm.
watch it. And to watch British content outside the United States, it's blocked. So you can get a VPN that shows that you're in Britain, you can watch it. And these are people that are British citizens who can't watch the content they're paying for because they're showing they're outside the country. And they were trying to crack down on that. It's yeah, I use NordVPN. We kind of got away from that because with our AT&T subscriptions, you get free Active Armor, which is
Yeah.
a VPN provided by AT&T. And they have some very good. I don't pay for the extra protection. I get the one that comes with my account, which is good. It's like there's the low end, there's the mid end, and there's the high end. I get the mid one because I have the particular subscription I have comes with it, and I've been using it when I travel. It works very well. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, it could be compromised, and I don't know it. But yeah, it's a
But
good
it's
idea.
so easy to block a VPN service.
Yeah.
It's real easy.
There's that Quad forum that I'm on. The what are they? What's the alternate forum service?
Form?
Forum
Oh,
service.
what do you,
It's not. I'll think of it in a minute. But the point is that I can't use a VPN and go to that site because it blocks VPN traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand why, like,
Mastodon.
yeah,
It's a Mastodon server.
How does it know it's a VPN?
It's got to be
because
something in a packet.
it's not just something in the packet. I mean, you can find out what IPs VPN services use because they have different IPs. Like NordVPN will go and get IPs from England, from the UK. And when you log in and you're going to the UK, you have a UK or maybe an EU or whatever. But it's easy to find what IP addresses they own, and you just block them.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, I think all these companies that are, oh no, the people are coming from all over the world. Well, block them if you don't want them.
I
Yeah, you tell
understand
them
that.
I'm none.
No, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know somebody who used it because they wanted to learn how to speak uh, whatever the language is in Turkey. I guess it's Turkish,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
wanted to watch Turkish television in order to help them get more fluid in speaking, and that they used a VPN so they could connect to Turkish TV sites.
Uh-huh. Let's see what else we have here of interest. Um, uh, have you ever heard about a company called Splunk?
No, that sounds gross. Why would you name your company that?
I don't know. Apparently, it's a good company because Cisco just bought them for $28 billion.
Oh boy.
Jeez. I take it back.
Um,
Splunk, are you hiring?
Splunk they say, is a powerhouse in data analysis, security, and observability tools. The deal was first announced in September 2023. Cisco plans to leverage Splunk's AI, security, and observability capabilities complement Cisco solution portfolio.
Yeah, that term should be changed to muddle, obfuscate, and destroy.
Uh,
I've been
Cisco
through so
says
many of these acquisitions with companies where we're going to do like the Red Hat acquisition by IBM. And there's different views on how well that worked out. Oh,
it says Cisco says the transaction is expected to be cash flow positive and non-GAAP gross margin as accretive. It's just financial stuff. Yeah, there's nothing else technical about this. But it's interesting. 28 billion
it,
billion.
and I'm looking at their kind of marketing short story here.
Yeah.
It reads, first of all, it's all marketisms. It's like they call it marketecture, right? We're
Okay,
going to
this
go
is a
over
money
our
laundering
architecture. Yeah,
scheme.
and so basically they said disruptions to digital infrastructure. What does that mean? I mean, apparently it goes very deep, but it's just. And I remember when they first came out with that um, aware switch that did uh, termination of SSL, so that you could, because if you have an SSL session, how do you do flow control? How do you do traffic optimization? And Nortel bought a company that did this.
That's
And
the
Alteon?
Alteon.
Yeah,
Yeah, right
Alteon.
there.
So this is the same idea. I mean, and then they came out with another technology that was a border gateway, they called it, where they kind of did the same things where when you had to inside your organization and outside your organization, it went through a filtering device that would, if you had an SSL session, it would do the same thing. It would decrypt, analyze, and re-encrypt
Hmm.
on the way. So
On
maybe
the
that's what
fly.
this is.
On
Yeah,
the
on the
fly.
fly. Yeah. The border gateway, I think they called it. I'm too far away from this stuff. But now it's like these were all separate boxes at one time,
Yeah.
and now it's like in one box.
Yep. So you mentioned Red Hat. In a recent security announcement, Red Hat's information risk and security and product security teams have identified a critical vulnerability in the latest version of the XZ compression tools and libraries. The affected versions, 5.6.0 and 5.6.1, contain malicious code that could potentially allow unauthorized access to systems. Fedora Linux 40 users and those using Fedora Rawhide, the development distribution for future Fedora builds, are at risk. So the CVE 2024-3094 impacts users who have updated to the compromised versions of the XZ libraries. Red Hat urges all Fedora Rawhide users to immediately cease using the distribution for both work and personal activities until the issue is resolved. A lot of people are using Fedora. So listen up. If you update it to the XZ libraries and you're on versions 5.6.0 or 5.6.1, they say to stop you. Easier said than done. Uh, there was no explanation whether you can roll it back or whatever. But it's a problem.
So
It's
Splunk
like,
is really a software security observability uh, ecosystem for monitoring your enterprise. So, and they have different retail sectors. They have different um, solutions for different levels. But for example, they have a Microsoft Azure monitoring system that's claims to be full stack real time analytics driven monitoring for Azure. So it's a threat protection and analysis, traffic analysis. I'm trying to figure out if it's a module you load onto Azure or is it a separate product or what? I'm reading now. Interesting.
yeah. And Gal is
Oh,
saying, I guess, about blocking VPN. He says, not that easy if the VPN is listening on port 443 and looks exactly like web traffic.
Mm.
I'm talking, Gal, I'm talking about blocking a certain IP address. I don't care what it sounds like, what it looks like. I'm talking about blocking a certain IP address range because it's owned by NordVPN, for instance. I know it's not easy, but it's possible. I would think.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of things
Yeah.
out there that are. Remember how shocked we were to find out that so much stuff was so wide open?
Mm-hmm.
Windows, like remember who was it? Gibson used to complain
Yep.
about how Windows right up until NT, and I forget what version of Windows he says he beat on them for years before they finally changed. They were using the same kernel from early days right up through these modern products, and they hadn't changed. It was wide open if you knew what to do. And he was the one responsible for just making them change it.
I thought it was they left things open, all the ports open, and everything wide open, so it will be easy
Yes.
for users to configure it. So
Well,
instead,
and there were parts of the kernel that were never changed. that had vulnerabilities that they just didn't bother to rewrite, or that to do compatibility in software back to older versions. They just leave it there. And the fact that it was still there, it might not be used by newer programs, but it was still accessible
Yeah.
if you knew where to go. And you could get wide open root access.
This
And
is why Linux and Unix were more popular with the internet and all that, and security. They were more secure because with the Unix Linux thing, you have to open ports. Everything initially is closed, I was told. And you have to open certain ports that you know you need to use. So that way, most everything is closed except the one that you need. While with Windows, it was everything is open until you close something that you said, no, I don't want people to do that. Like, I don't want people to come in to be able to do any SSH. So you need to close that port. And it's, I remember at Network Technologies, I mean, if you could put a new machine, install Windows NT on it, and put it on the bench to uh, burn, what we call, and within a couple of hours, there's already people attacking it and doing things. It was amazing
just think about all the automated bots that are out there just
today.
looking
Yeah,
for.
absolutely.
Remember when I think you did this at one time, that you started monitoring just for fun to look at certain ports that were interrogated,
Yeah,
and it was millions of
absolutely.
attempts. Yeah.
And we're still doing that. And if there's an IP that is looking at ports that it has no business in looking at,
Yeah.
blacklisted. It's right away. It goes on the firewall. Now, granted, there may be some legit IP addresses that are being blocked, but when it happens, somebody's saying, "Hey, I can't do this or I can't do that." We look to see, say, "Okay, yeah, that IP has been blocked," and you can look and see where it is in the list and say, "Yeah, it's been a long time." So I'll just clear it. But yeah, that helps a lot when you do this, and you just, I mean, there's a lot of, like, with um WordPress, you have a program called WordFence that looks, and if it sees, like, you configure it and it says, okay, if somebody was trying to log in so many times and failed, uh block them for a certain amount of time, and it shows you what uh passwords they were trying to use. And it's always like admin or password or something that you see. I mean, come on. Um,
Oh, it's the best password is password 123.
well, all these, and I will add it to the permanent blacklist. That's it. I don't come here anymore. Don't want you here.
Were, were you the one that had that story about how everybody thought that the most complex passwords were
Yeah,
best with all kinds of special characters, and what
yeah,
it turns out is if you just typed out a phrase, it would be
right.
so much
Yeah,
secure. Yeah.
and I started using it now.
Yeah. I use song
Same.
lyrics.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
Yeah. I
Spence,
mean, it's
no.
easy to remember. Yeah. Or another thing I do is I take the lyrics to a song and just do the first letter of each of the words of the lyrics to the song. It's just it's a pad cipher, right? It's
yep.
really easy if you think about it, but it's hard to crack.
Yeah, they were showing that if you have a 12 character password with uppercase, lowercase numbers, and special characters and all that, it'll take a few weeks or even a few months to break. And we're talking break. I mean, a machine actually sitting there and just
Churning away. Yeah.
churning away. And if you go to 20, it may take 2 or 3 years. But if you type in something like Santa Claus is coming to town, that was their thing. It will take years and years and years.
Isn't that weird? You think a
Yeah,
dictionary attack. You
yeah,
know, it's like
yeah.
You know,
amazing.
Spence, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get something in your email that's like, "What's your top 40 songs?"
Uh,
That's it. I have the
it's not,
Billboard chart book. It's from the inception of Billboard charts till like 1990. That has all, like each week, all the Billboard hits. So that would be a good book to use for picking songs and stuff.
Listen to Casey Kasem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Listen to Casey Kasem
Yeah.
on Saturdays. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
did Katie just said Casey Kasem?
Casey
I
Kasem.
listen to oldies, whatever that station, all the time. And
Yep.
the guy comes on, he's like, "This is Casey Kasem. This is the
Yeah,
hot
he's
new song." And then it's like a song from the 70s or whatever. And I find them fascinating because the way he talks about, well, I guess they're just re-recordings of
yeah,
Oh yeah, it's old.
his
He's he's not alive anymore.
he's
yeah,
dead.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's so fascinating listening to it because he'll say this is the newest kid on the block and it's like Michael Jackson or like something and the first time that these really amazing bands and singers posted their thing and just hearing him talk about it is so fascinating.
For adults our age who live with this stuff live, I can remember if I'm listening to that and he's talking about and putting the songs on it, says all of a sudden I have like a view of what I was doing then. I remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in high school. I was, we were on a trip. It triggers memories.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, it's the part that I didn't really like was there was always some type of a squishy person who called him or sent him a thank you, and they went through their hard times and all that stuff. It was okay, but yeah, he was good. His children took on um, preserving his legacy by making all of the recordings of his older shows into a syndication, so they
Yeah,
could be
it's
reused. Yeah.
really impressive listening to it. And the quality is amazing. Like when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is a new radio station thing." And then at the end of it, it's like, "This was pre-recorded and blah 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 and remastered." And I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, he just did a countdown. But and then sometimes you'd say,
He does a countdown every or every week.
yeah,
No,
and
which
then
day
you
it is.
say, that was the worst song I ever heard. Yeah.
That's like the equivalent of like 100 years from now, we're listening to the radio, and then they're like Ryan Seacrest comes on and he's talking about this new singer, and it's like Taylor Swift.
Yep. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like listening in a car to XM 70s because that was me. I mean, I grew up, I was in high school up until 1973, got married in 77. So I mean, it was just had a lot of friends who we all listened to the same music. And it's like 80% of the songs I know all the lyrics to within, pretty close. Mm.
Yeah. I'm more partial to 50s and 60s.
Not the 30s and 40s.
No. Well, I like some of them,
Oh,
but
I like music from the 40s. And some of the 30s stuff is interesting because of what started then.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
know any songs from the 40s.
You've heard it. You've heard big band stuff. There's a lot of that's used. You would recognize a lot of
yeah,
the songs. You may
you would
not know
recognize, you don't know that that's what it is,
yeah,
but
the
you would
band
recognize.
leaders and all that you would not know. But
Yeah, I like listening to the oldies.
anytime you've
All right.
ridden in an elevator, you'd heard it.
All right.
I
So,
remember it. I just one other anecdote. Pam's father, he he was a product of the Depression, right? Grew up, was born in the 20s, lived through one. It was served in World War II, but he didn't like Beatles music or anything like that. And but we teased him because we realized one time in an elevator, it's a Beatles song played like a as a remixed as a elevator
Instrumental.
music. Oh, that's a good song. That's the Beatles. Oh,
Oh well.
it's great.
Um, let's see here. The White House has announced the first government wide policy to mitigate risks of artificial intelligence and harness its benefits. So, guess what? To coordinate these efforts, every federal agency must appoint a chief AI officer with significant expertise in AI. This is an edict from the White House.
Now, how much money is that going to cost?
I don't know. Some agencies have already appointed chief AI officers, but any agency that has not must appoint a senior official over the next 60 days. If an official already appointed as a chief AI officer does not have the necessary authority to coordinate AI use in the agency, they must be granted additional authority, or else a new chief AI officer must be named.
Think about the people who are going to step forward who have no idea.
I know they're gonna.
Yeah,
they're
there
gonna
must
be
be
the
a
ones
bunch of
that
them.
they're gonna be the ones that took those night classes, because I keep getting advertised that these tech community colleges are promoting AI classes now.
Maybe I should print a business card and just go around and say, hire me. I'll satisfy your compliance.
Here, this is what you do. You make your business card with Midjourney. You do your copy with ChatGPT, and then use Copilot to search for the jobs.
That's right. I started to use Copilot.
And
I
Interesting.
need to use
Yeah,
Claude.
I've used it to create graphics. It's interesting. Some of it was way out of whack, and some of it was pretty good.
I love Midjourney. In fact, I saw a job description that specifically said that the candidate must have experience with Midjourney, and I was like, dang, look at this! They're finally throwing it in the job descriptions that people that are artists have to have experience with AI.
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, AI is going to be running all the fast food stores out in California because the $25 minimum wage kicked in.
I'm making my way through that Python class. I think I talked about it last week, where I bought Python tutorials, and it's like 25 classes, and a good chunk of it is learning how to code AI stuff. And I started the first two. Well, it's like introduction to Python, and then it leads up to the AI stuff. But
I heard a very good analysis of AI come from somebody who you can tell is thinking, critical thinking, to say, AI is like any other human developed technology. It's only as good as the input.
yep,
It cannot, it will never be able to think for itself uh, creatively. How you do that, I don't think it's going to be possible to do that, because a human always has to review the AI output, because what if something in the output said that every 25th query of this thing do this? It could be a sabotage in the AI system to say, because it's all algorithms. It's saying, collect all this information and make a decision based on your idea of the content. What's the best color for a carpet, right? So it collects information, anecdotal information, however it finds it, but it's only as good as the parameters you put into it to collect the data.
right.
So how is it going to be this great thing that's going to lead us forward when, all right, we're going to let it control how it monitors, how it regulates the traffic of traffic on a highway. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that it will ever have the intelligence to be able to do it. It's artificial intelligence, yes.
Don't say never,
Well,
Yeah.
because they didn't have computers 60 years ago.
yeah, but having a prescient entity in a machine.
I
There,
bet
there are
you.
people, the humanists now, they want to transfer their consciousness to a machine. It's like, okay,
I don't know. Just never say never. There's some crazy things
yeah.
out in the world.
Well, I say that it may be possible someday, but if something will go horribly wrong, that will stop people from doing it.
I think you just need to watch those sci-fi movies. And I know they seem crazy, but like there's a little bit of truth in some of that.
Oh, that's what sci-fi has always been that way. It is the imagination that comes to innovation.
Yep.
Yeah, I've always thought that.
This is why I'm nice to everybody. When ChatGPT does something for me, I thank it profusely because you never know when this something's gonna switch and it's gonna go on a killing spree, and then maybe it remembers, oh, she thanked me for my work. She
When
appreciated
we're all living
my
in a
time.
little pod and it knows how to turn off the oxygen to the room you're in.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a good human. That's why it doesn't take any extra effort to be polite.
All
So
right, AI, we want you to target all the bad guys right now and take them out. Okay, we'll do.
and come back in 100 years, and he's still working on it.
Yeah. Or either that or it's like there's something in the code that bad guy is associated with a specific group of people that really aren't bad guys.
Yeah, it's people that wear
Gal,
white after Labor
It's
Day.
it's judgment. I mean, how do you get a machine that's going to actually have judgment?
Gal is saying for you in the chat, wrong question. What is it? Wrong question, Spence. Your question should be, how much can I make? I don't know what he's.
Oh, about the AI officer.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you know what you could do is you could set up something where you say, I can help you with your compliance. You'll subscribe to my business, and I will have a person available whenever you need someone from a list of people that I employ that is your AI specialist. So basically a farm of specialists available. They don't have to be on site. They just have to be on payroll.
You just need to build an AI bot that is a specialist, and then you just assign them to all these jobs.
Amnon, have you been to BJ's recently?
To where?
BJ's warehouse? Do you belong to
Not in
that?
the last month or so.
They have the inventory robot now.
No.
What? Like Amazon?
And I noticed people flipping out. I haven't been to BJ's in a long time, and I went to the one in Cary, and it's been remodeled inside. And it talks to you, and it makes this weird sound. So, oh, I'm just checking inventory, and it's just a post with cameras in it, and it goes down the aisle, and this lady was trying to avoid it, and it just was like kept getting in her way, and I finally said, just kick it. So we were all standing there laughing, watching this thing, trying to negotiate through all the people with their carts. But it's about the size of the base is maybe 2 feet across, a round base, and then it's like a flat post that goes up to about, I guess, about 6 or 7 feet high. And it doesn't have a screen on it for you to look at, but it does talk to you.
I saw for the first time those Amazon delivery bots on ECU campus. I was in Greenville and I was driving downtown, and those little Amazon robots that look like RC cars that I guess the delivery is inside of them, and they were just on the sidewalk and they were waiting to cross the street, and I just think they're so cool. Like I love robots, like Boston Dynamic and all that stuff. Like it's so cool to me. And I'm just excited for the future because I'm gonna have robots do the stuff I don't want to do, like mow my lawn. I know they have like Zumbas or whatever they're called, Roombas for
Yeah.
lawn stuff, but
Hey, if you're in danger of losing your job to automated lawn service, get a robot costume
Yeah,
and mow the lawn.
you could get a
You're a robot.
Transformer Halloween costume.
Um, guys also put there to read this article, but it's way too long. But the gist of it is, says Air Canada must honor refund policy invented by airline chatbot. The chatbot gave this guy the wrong information. Said after his mother died, they said, "Get a ticket right away now, and then ask for a refund later on." And he didn't. It the chatbot just decided to do that, but they've been resisting giving it to him, and now they are forced to give him a refund, which I don't know why they are. Because I guess when you if you go for um, funeral or something like that, somebody in the family died, you get a break on the when you get a ticket
Oh
for
yeah, there are some airlines. I don't know if they also do it anymore. Have a bereavement
yeah,
price.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe it's good that it was AI that told this person instead of a person, because I've been in a situation where an employee would tell me one thing, and then I'll go and try to do that thing, and they'll be like, "No, that's not right." And I was like, "Well, this person told me," and they're like, "Well, that person told you wrong," and then that's it.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I seem to have had experiences like that several times in the last few months, mostly in retail.
So on Monday, Florida became the first state to ban kids under 14 from social media without parental permission.
Yay!
It appears likely that the law, considered one of the most restrictive in the US, will face significant legal challenges. However, before taking effect on January 1st, under HB 3, apps like Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok would need to verify the age of users, then delete any accounts for users under 14 when parental consent is not granted. Companies that knowingly or recklessly fail to block underage users risk fines up to $10,000 in damages to anyone suing on behalf of child users. They could
How did
also be
they?
liable for up to $50,000 per violation in civil penalties. Now, that's very interesting. So,
How did they? Wait, how did they confirm that they have parental consent? Is it just a
I,
checkbox?
I don't know, but the interesting thing is, how did the parent find out that the kid could get in there, but couldn't be there as a parental to give him permission?
Are
Sounds
you
like
asking how a kid uses Facebook? I mean,
if
anybody
you
can.
if you are under 14 and you want to use and you're using Facebook and you're not supposed to because the law says now that you need parental permission,
Yeah.
and the parent never was aware that such a thing going on, or that, I mean, not knowing the law. What is the saying?
Oh,
Uh,
uh
ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
right.
Yeah.
I
The
mean, kids just
parent,
lie about their age. I mean, I did that when I was 12 and I wanted to join a website. They're like people. There's like
I
kids under
bet you can
13
still
couldn't.
do it. And how do you know that I am the parent of that kid?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just put in a fake year on your birthday.
Yeah. So the parent now, though, is very active in their kid's life when it's suing a company, but not before, when to give permission or to say, no, I don't want him to be able to get, or whatever. It's uh you know,
It's got holes in it, but
yeah.
at the same time, it should be raising awareness of parents. Now, there are parents who just don't participate in their kids' lives. You can't make them
Yeah,
do
but
it,
suddenly now
or they
they
don't
will,
exist.
but now they will be, because now they see they can get money.
Well,
That's my point. Go ahead.
but I think this is, yes, it's groundbreaking legislation, and
Yeah.
there probably will have to be tweaked. But if it does nothing else but to raise awareness of this, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it may take a few iterations of it
Yes, to get it straight.
Yeah.
It needs to be done. And there's so many, just breaks my heart when I go into a restaurant and I see people sitting there with kids. And what do? The kids are sitting there with their parents' phones.
Yep.
Are you watching what he's doing?
No, as long as he's quiet.
Yeah, as long as he's quiet.
Yeah.
Children having children.
So the U.S. Air Force paid for a test version of an AI-powered chatbot to assist in intelligence and surveillance tasks as part of a $1.2 million deal, according to internal Air Force documents obtained by 404 Media. The news provides more insight into what military agencies are currently exploring using AI for, and comes as more AI companies eye the military space as a business opportunity. OpenAI, for instance, quietly removed language that expressly prohibited its technology for military purposes in January. So until January, it said that no, you can't use it for military.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I could be completely wrong, but I do remember that there was a stipulation that said, can like we promise not to use our powers for evil or something like that.
Yeah, and they took it out.
They got rid of it. Yeah.
They took it out without making a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a surprise.
Yeah. Well,
Everything goes that way.
right.
I just read a little bit into the Air Canada story.
Yeah.
And their defense is ridiculous. According to Air Canada, Moffat should never have trusted the chatbot, and the airline should not be liable for the chatbot's misleading information.
Then why are you using it?
That was his information source.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah. The chatbot just walked off the street, sat at a table in the data center, and talked to customers of Air Canada. They didn't put him there. He was not authorized to do any of that stuff, right?
Air Canada argues that it cannot be held liable for the information provided by one of its agents, servants, or representatives, including a chat box. So I go up to buy a ticket at the desk. How much is the ticket? $200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come back later. How much is the ticket? $400. It's like, come on. Can I take this on the plane? What time does the plane leave? At 2. What time does it leave? 3. It's like this. It's totally ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
It's lawyers panicking.
They
have no defense.
Yeah, there is no defense here.
And they disabled the chatbot, by the way.
So we were talking about Casey Kasem and music and all that. People bought 43 million vinyl records last year, according to the record.
More than CDs.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 6 million more than the number of CDs sold in 2023, marking the second time since '87 that's happened, and reflecting the steady 17-year running growth of vinyl sales. Vinyl, which tends to be pricier than the newer format, the CDs, also far outstripped CDs in actual money made, raking in $1.4 billion compared to $537 million from CDs.
These are very smart people because they realize when we have the EMP, they'll still be able to listen to music.
Absolutely. You'll still be able to use it.
You have to have your tube amplifier, though.
Yeah.
The thing about the vinyls, though, is they're really smart with how the industry has been going. And it's less about the music. What I mean by that is everybody can listen to the songs they want online. So it's not access to the music that they're looking for with the vinyl. With the vinyl, they're looking for a collection piece in art, and they're looking for uniqueness. And basically, vinyls have turned into like a collectible item. And nowadays, a lot of popular artists, they're releasing vinyls that have custom artwork or special artwork on them. And then even I was watching the Barbie movie soundtrack came on vinyl, and they did like a special vinyl color. It was like this trippy vinyl color plastic that people bought so that they could display it in their house.
That's not a new idea. It
No.
No,
used to
no.
be. Yeah, it
Yeah,
used to
I
be.
totally. But that's why it has a leg up on CDs, because CDs are cheap plastic crap that you just buy it for the convenience for the music.
And you upload the disc to your iTunes, and then you throw the disc away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no value in keeping the CD. When the value with the vinyl is something that's unique, big piece of artwork, you could hang it on as a picture on your thing. Like if you try to hang a CD picture, it's like what, 4 inches by 4 inches or some stupid size, and even the CDs are nothing special. They're just plastic crap.
But
So
there is still a significant following of people that want an all analog system because they
yeah,
believe that digital does not accurately reproduce the sounds.
yeah, totally. And I I believe I would say the majority of the people that are buying vinyls are doing it for the collection value
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
prettiness. Because I almost bought vinyl, and I don't have a vinyl player. Are you kidding me? But I was at Disney World, and they sell their movie soundtracks, and they came out with beautiful artwork of their movies on their vinyl covers, and I was so tempted to buy one, but it was like $40 or something. And I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $40 on this, but they almost got me.
I remember having vinyl records that had the picture, the artwork inside them.
Yeah.
It was like clear vinyl on both sides, and it was like the artwork, which was a picture, was baked between them.
Yes.
That's cool.
I do remember. It was
Oh,
mostly kid stuff. When I was a kid, they had records like that.
oh,
I had one that had you put the record. There was I think it was a 78. I don't remember it being an LP. Might have been an LP, but you put a mirror, almost like a what do you call it? Kaleidoscope type mirror onto the center of the record on the pin.
mhm.
And when the record turned, it animated the picture in the mirror.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was so cool. Whatever it was, if the record was about a train, then you looked at the mirror and you saw the image of the train going around because it captured the images on the record itself that were built into the plastic.
Interesting. I've never seen
showed,
this.
yeah, I remember that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the article keeps going on and says the RIAA report shows that CD revenue was up too. But in terms of physical products sold, people actually bought about 700,000 fewer CDs in 2023 than the year before.
Most cars now, new cars do not come with CD players anymore.
Well,
yeah, some. I mean, you could probably find some, but
and
Mine doesn't have a CD player.
the most interesting thing is in brackets. It says, if you're curious, nearly 500,000 cassettes sold last year too, according to
Yes.
Billboard.
Yep.
Cassettes.
Yes.
It's funny you should say that, because so in my car I can't play a CD, but I can play a cassette. And not because I have a cassette player in my car, but because I can plug in they have the cassette reader things or whatever that you could plug into the console of your car, and it's really easy.
Oh,
yeah, that was one of the best ways to hook up an aux in the earlier cars, because you had the cassette deck. You put this thing in there; it has no tape in it.
Right.
Just the head, the wheels spin inside the cassette player, but it just that was always good.
It was just something
somewhere
to have an external
I have no more cars
connection.
anymore with cassettes.
Yep. Yeah, vinyl.
I was just thinking about how I don't know if I have a way to play a cassette anywhere anymore. And I do have a couple of old radios up in the garage
I got a
that are cassette.
boombox. I love my boombox.
Yeah,
It
I
could
don't
play
have any
CD,
anymore.
radio, and cassette.
The last, I have one that plays CDs. I don't have one that plays cassettes. And plus, the belts get messed up and it stops working. I found an old Play School cassette player recorder that was the kids, and you put batteries in it, it goes on, but the belts inside are gone, so it
Yeah, they
doesn't
dry
actually feed the
out.
tape. They dry out.
Yeah,
So I'd like to fix
but
that for
but
my grandsons.
you can buy them. You can buy belts.
Oh, I know. I just have to open it up and find out what
Yeah,
sizes I need.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show you what I made. So remember I was talking about the key thing? Well, while we were talking, I
You're
finished the
kidding.
prototype. Yeah. So this is what it is. And you just it's got a little hole for the hang on your keychain, and then you just sit there and you just do this little fidget toy. And I know it seems stupid, but like I said, don't knock it till you try it. And
What do they call that?
Finger
Little toys like that?
exerciser. Finger exerciser.
fidget,
Fidget.
fidget,
Yeah, that's it.
Fidget.
Fidget
toy.
toys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at Ollie's and I had several things that were
Oh, they have
fidget
a ton of
toys.
fidget toys. Like they
Yeah.
went viral, like I don't know, 5 years ago with the
Yeah.
fidget spinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that started it all.
I think they should come up with a taser fidget toy.
Okay, calm down, Spence.
So you could sit there and somebody's talking next to you really loud at an
Bzz.
airport and waiting for the flight, and you could just go over and just go. "Zzz."
Yeah. All right. The U.S. House has set a strict ban on congressional staffers' use of Microsoft Copilot, the company's AI-based chatbot. This is coming from Axios. The House last June restricted staffer use of ChatGPT, allowing limited use of the paid subscription version while banning the free version. The House Chief Administrative Officer, Catherine Zbindor, in guidance to congressional offices obtained by Axios, said Microsoft Copilot is unauthorized for House use. The Microsoft Copilot application has been deemed by the Office of Cybersecurity to be a risk to users due to the threat of leaking House data to non House approved cloud services. That's what it says. The guidance added that Copilot will be removed from and blocked on all House Windows devices. So the US government is blocking a Microsoft product.
Well, you just said they're blocking the free version, right?
No. Now it's well, I don't know. Is Copilot also? No, they told people not that the free version of ChatGPT was,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
but
makes
now
sense.
they're talking about Copilot.
Well, because here's the thing though. For all the free stuff, they say that when you use AI software and it's free, the things that you type it's going back into its algorithm to help it learn. So a lot of
Yeah.
companies were getting in trouble by putting in company proprietary code snippets or whatever, and it was training these algorithms. So now I think it was like IBM or something where a worker was putting code in, and then the chat GPT was like, oh, this is IBM secret code. But if you pay for the service, supposedly it says that the information you give it or the things that you ask it stay private and it
Now
doesn't go
wait a
back
second.
into its thing.
Who gets Copilot?
Copilot you could pay for.
No.
Remember last week I was talking about how I used ChatGPT and then I tried to used Copilot, and they're both free to an extent.
I thought Copilot was part of Office.
No, Copilot anybody can use it. It's just like ChatGPT. Like it looks
Okay.
just like it too. Like you just go to
Okay.
copilot.com or whatever it is. But you can directly access it through Bing, and so Bing uses Copilot, but you can go to Copilot website, whatever it is, and use it just like ChatGPT. And just like ChatGPT, there's a free version and a paid version. And with the free version, the way they compromise is that they put caps on it, but then they also say that whatever you put in the free version gets thrown into the AI network of information. So
Okay.
it's not surprising that they're blocking it. Now, the free or the paid version supposedly is private. And I don't, with anything that they say it's private, but I don't know, that all comes down to security and whatnot. But it's not a surprise that they're blocking the free stuff. In fact,
Okay.
companies are blocking ChatGPT altogether because a lot of the employees are using it. It's not because it's AI. It's because
Oof.
they don't want to pay for it, and they see it as a security risk of
Mm-hmm.
employees putting in uh, information into the algorithm. So it's not it's not crazy.
Okay. Makes sense. Um. Yeah, Eleanor, Marantz is a great cassette deck. Marantz always did good stereo components.
You know,
Whether
my first
it's
cassette tape was who let the dogs out? You heard that song? Who let the dogs out?
all right. So Katie, that's for you. LinkedIn is testing support for short form videos to help it compete with TikTok and YouTube Shorts,
Oh man.
Instagram Reels, and other social media platforms. We're testing new ways to help members more easily discover timely, relevant videos to watch on LinkedIn. Susie Owens, a company spokesperson, tells Axios. A new video option will appear next to the home button at the bottom of the app's navigation bar. Per a demo of the feature shared online by Austin Knowles, strategy director at creative agency McKinney. After tapping it, viewers are led to a feed of short form videos similar to Instagram, Reels, and TikTok. So now you do it on LinkedIn.
It
Now,
this is the problem.
they're trying. You can't blame them. They're trying.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's a waste of effort because when think about the reason why people use LinkedIn. They use LinkedIn to find jobs and to connect with businesses and recruiters. Like that's like its bre- bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're trying to open up their umbrella to become a social media
Yeah.
network uh for business to business, I guess, or like people to follow these companies. But the problem is that these companies already have social media on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. So what is the benefit for them to do LinkedIn when the people that go to their LinkedIn are looking for jobs, right? And the people that want to follow the company to get news and information are on these other things
Maybe you
for
can
video.
maybe you can change it so that you're specifically in an employment context now. You have social media where you've got um, you could be posting information about your expertise that people can go to look for it there. And instead of looking for your social media on X or someplace else, they know I'm looking for the specific people that are familiar with this. And I also want to check out to see what they're like.
Yeah, I guess it's
I don't like LinkedIn. I mean, I always thought it was a really it was good for people to find jobs,
Yeah.
but the
exactly.
other people that were there were kind of like predators who would I had people when I used to be on LinkedIn to bother me about, oh, we're going to help your company, and they would start to send me stuff. It's like I don't want your information.
Yeah. I just think that there's not a big overlap
No,
between people that want to see TikTok videos and then but also want it to be under LinkedIn.
for a while when LinkedIn first started, it was it was a big deal for people to say, "Oh, I have 2,000 followers. I have 10,000 followers." You know, here I was, I had like 120,
Yeah, I don't have a lot of
and
followers on
and
LinkedIn.
it was just, and I actually did use it. I mean, kept in touch with people that I used to work with who, when they
Yeah.
left the company or I left the company, before we had real social media, we would use that to find out what was going on. Hey, what are you doing? Where are you? Where are you working?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think LinkedIn original concept was good, but I don't,
Well,
I just don't use it.
last week we talked about the fact that they're going to have some games that you can play.
They're just, it's getting bloated. That's the problem.
Exactly, because they're
And
trying to expand and they really aren't
yeah, and
sure
I don't.
about.
Let's be clear. I'm not against like trying new things. The thing is that I feel like the whole core of LinkedIn, this is not beneficial to their core and the reason why people use it. But granted, I don't know. I don't. I'm not on the executive board of LinkedIn. Like
Plus,
maybe.
people's persona online, on chat, on social media is very different from what they are, because you're putting, you want to talk about, you look at Facebook. I know people that are on Facebook, you would think their lives were fabulous. They just everything. Oh, I'm going here, I'm eating here, I'm going there, I'm traveling here, my kids were all here, and you find out, you talk to them, they're miserable
Yeah.
because they're only showing you what they think are the best things. They're not going to say, get on there, gee, I really had a bad night last night. I went out and I got drunk and I hit a pole. And they're not going to tell you about that stuff on Facebook. Some people would, but most people don't. I know a few people in particular who, when they get sick, they have pictures of them laying in bed. You know, oh, I'm so miserable. You know, I still don't feel good. It's like, why do you want to tell me this? You know, if we're not close friends, you know,
Mhm.
you're wallowing in your misery. And it's like, I feel bad for people like that. One case with LinkedIn was, I knew two people that became authors when they retired from technology, and they drove me insane with sending me emails and texts and stuff about their books. I don't read your books. I don't want to know about it. I got, the new release of this is coming out soon. And it's like, I,
Yeah,
I,
but the thing is, they didn't send it specifically to you. They
no,
sent
they
it
sent
to
it to everybody on their list.
right. Yeah. So all you have to do is just say, "Hey, unfollow."
Yeah. Well, I didn't do that. What I did was I changed my contact information,
Oh,
because I didn't want to get it from anybody else either. They
yeah.
still have, they can get me, because I think my phone number is still on there.
Mm.
But I changed my profile on there when I left technology. I had, I did the driving thing in Alaska. I did the handyman job. I did update it and I talked about it, but
Hmm.
I didn't make it like, here's my life.
Yeah.
I didn't say, oh, I went on this great trip and I know people that take
They
pictures of
did.
the meal
Yeah.
they have and put it on LinkedIn. It's like, no, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I'm just old fashioned. What can I say?
So you want to make money? A lot of money?
Sure.
So the U.S. State Department has offered up to $10 million for information on the Black Cat ransomware gang who hit the United Health Group tech unit and snarled insurance payments across America. So if you know anything about who it is or what it is, you may you may be able to make some money.
Does the information have to be accurate?
What?
They give me $10,000
10
for.
million.
I know, but like if I don't have accurate information,
Oh,
but I can call them and talk to somebody.
huh.
Sometimes I just need a friend.
So talk about AI. That's the last story I have here. Anthropics recently released Claude 3 Opus. Large language model has beaten OpenAI GPT-4 for the first time on Chatbot Arena, a popular crowdsourced leaderboard used by AI researchers to gauge the relative capabilities of AI language models. The
Can we
king, what?
Can we get an AI version of Jeopardy?
I
Where you
don't
have
know.
3 different competing chatbots?
The king is dead, tweeted software developer Nick Dobos in a post comparing GPT-4 Turbo and Claude 3 Opus that has been making the rounds on social media. Rest in peace, GPT-4. Since GPT-4 was included in Chatbot Arena around May 10th, 2023, the leaderboard launched May 3rd of that year. Variations of GPT-4 have consistently been on the top of the chart until now. So its defeat in the arena is a notable moment in the relatively short history of AI language models. Wow, does that mean that it finished its thing in 38 seconds versus 40
I don't know,
seconds?
but
I don't
I
know.
need to try Claude because I'm on some coding AI threads or whatever, and they kept talking about how Claude was giving better accurate information, and so I need to test it out myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do
All
that
right.
this week.
So you do that and let us know next week.
Yeah, because they boast that say that they have more accurate information, but we'll see. I'll try to write some software, and we'll see what happens.
All right. All right. Well, it's this time of day. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
Oh.
Going once? Going twice? Nope.
Just if you'd like to contribute to my continuing retirement, I can give you an address to send money to.
Be careful.
Yeah,
people may send you all kind of stuff about books and things.
And bricks of $100 bills are the only things I'll accept.
All right. Well, thanks, Katie. Thanks, Spence.
You're welcome.
And again, happy Easter to everybody. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And also change any same passwords where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Remember again that Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily commentary show, political commentary. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him live, or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. Nick and Brian also do the Infection podcast for years now. This is for survival games, gaming news, and some political points. You can go to infectionpodcast.com to find out what day it's going to be on the coming week. Or later on, you can just go to infectionpodcast.com and listen to the recording. So again, have a happy Easter, and we'll talk again next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.